Once upon a time, nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, lay the village of Moonbrook, where houses were adorned with twinkling lanterns every night. In this village lived 3 siblings, Amaya, Tio, and little Nari. One by one, they watched anxiously as the flickering lights died out, replaced by ominous shadows. No matter how hard they tried, the flames refused to stay lit. With heavy hearts, they knew not a single firefly would find its way home tonight, and soon the forest would be filled with their mournful cries. But through the chaos, they could hear another sound, faint yet distinct, the gurgling of water. Beside it sat a tiny figure, no bigger than Nari's thumb, with gossamer wings and a crown of leaves. It was a timber sprite, the guardian of the whispering woods, whose magic kept the river alive and vibrant. But now she had slumped forward, her luminescent form dimmed, her duty forgotten. At last, pushing aside a curtain of vines, they saw it, their river, or what was left of it. "Very well, but what can you do to help?" "Your light is strong, child," she said to Amaya, gesturing with a delicate finger. "But even if you gave up your lantern, it wouldn't revive the river." Amaya frowned, her gaze dropping to her lantern. She knew the elder was right, but she couldn't bear to watch Sylvan fade away without trying. Its surface, usually shimmering with magical currents, was now dull and stagnant. Reaching out, she opened it, revealing a collection of dried flowers and leaves, each one imbued with a faint, almost imperceptible glow. "What are these?" Nari asked, her voice filled with wonder. "Thank you, little one. You've shown me that even in the darkest times, hope can bloom again." The river at her touch surged with renewed magic, its surface shimmering with life. And as the sun crested over the hills, the forest awoke to the joyous song of returning birds. As Nari watched them depart, she knew that although she could unsee the river's magic with her own eyes, its sparkle was now a part of her, reminding her that even the smallest of lights can banish the greatest darkness. Together, the two of them watched as the light from the lantern infused Sylvan with strength. If you enjoyed the story, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. Your support helps us bring more wonderful stories to life. Don't forget to subscribe for more enchanting tales. And above all, never dim your light. The world needs your sparkle. The sprite elders emerged, their faces etched with relief. "You truly are a beacon once more, Sylvan," the emerald-eyed elder said, her voice filled with pride. "And thank you, child," she added, turning to Nari, "for helping our sister rediscover her light." With each passing moment, her luminescence grew brighter, banishing the shadows that had clung to her before. "These are memories of laughter and joy. Moments of beauty I've witnessed in the forest," Sylvan replied, her voice catching. "But they're fading, just like me." "I have an idea," she said, her voice filled with determination. "Yes, Nari," Tio added. "If it doesn't work, you have to promise to come back to the house right away." Nari nodded, her eyes shining with resolve. With that, Amaya and Tio hurried downstream to gather the fireflies, while Nari turned back to the struggling sprite. "I'll stay here and help Sylvan." Without hesitation, she handed her lantern to Amaya, saying, "You and Tio take care of the fireflies." Her siblings looked at her, surprised by her sudden assertiveness. But seeing the resolute set of her shoulders, they knew it was no use arguing. Out stepped the sprite elders, their features etched with worry. Sylvan looked at the lantern, as if seeing it for the first time. Tentatively, she reached out and touched it, a spark of curiosity igniting within her. As she moved her fingers across the cool metal, a surge of energy coursed through her. With newfound determination, she leaned closer and blew gently. To her surprise, the wick flared to life, casting dancing shadows on the surrounding trees. Relief washed over Sylvan. "Elders, I'm here," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Sylvan looked up, her eyes filled with confusion and a hint of skepticism. "How can I, little one? My spirit is heavy with despair." "It's because you've given up on yourself," Nari said gently, reaching out to touch Sylvan's arm. "But your light isn't gone. It's still inside you, waiting to be rekindled." "We found her," Amaya called out, hoping to get their attention. "You came for me?" Sylvan asked, her voice trembling with emotion. And instead of the playful gurgle of water, there was only a disheartening silence. Every evening after sunset, they would place their lanterns by the riverbank. He landed on Amaya's outstretched finger, his tiny face etched with concern. "Are you all right?" asked Tio, his voice echoing oddly in the silent woods. The sprite lifted her head, her eyes brimming with sadness. "We came to help, ma'am. The river is dying, and we need its magic to guide the fireflies home." "What are you doing here, little ones? This is dangerous for creatures of the light to come this deep into the woods at night." Tio stepped forward, his chin held high. "I am but a flicker of my former self," she sighed. "My light has faded, and so has the river's magic." Sensing her despair, Amaya knelt beside her. "Why have you given up, little one? You are needed here." The sprite, Sylvan, explained, "I wanted to rest, to be free from the burden of keeping the river's magic alive. So I let my light fade, hoping the sprite elders would forget me." The path was long and fraught with danger. Thorny bushes snagged at their clothes and gnarled tree roots threatened to trip them. But they pressed on, their courage growing with each step, fueled by the thought of the grateful fireflies awaiting their help. "The river," he whispered, his voice trembling. "The river's magic is fading. We can't find our way." The children looked at each other, understanding dawning on their faces. They knew what they had to do. Though fear tugged at their hearts, they couldn't bear the thought of their tiny friends spending a cold night lost and alone. This wasn't just a lovely sight, but also an important task. You see, the river was a path for tiny fireflies, who flew home from their day of frolicking in the meadows. But since these fireflies were so small, they often got lost and disoriented. So the villagers, especially our three young friends, would line the banks with lanterns to guide them, each one flickering like a tiny star. Tonight, however, something was different. A strange wind had risen, whipping through the trees and snuffing out many of the lanterns. As if to confirm their fears, a worried chirp echoed through the air. It was Flick, the bravest of all the fireflies. So with determined nods, they did what they had done countless nights before, each taking a lantern and following the river's flow deeper into the forest. As they ventured further, the whispering wind grew louder, swirling fallen leaves into miniature tornadoes that buffeted them. Perched precariously on a nearby stump was a lantern, its flame long extinguished. With gentle steps, the children approached. At that moment, a chorus of voices echoed through the trees. "Sylvan, where are you?" One of the elders, a sprite with eyes like polished emeralds, turned towards them. The emerald-eyed elder scrutinized them for a moment, then sighed. Then little Nari, who had been unusually quiet, spoke up. "Be careful, Nari," Amaya whispered, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. Kneeling beside her, Nari began, "Sylvan, your light might be fading, but you can make it glow again." As Nari spoke, she noticed a small pouch hanging from Sylvan's belt. Nari smiled. "Exactly, and that's where you can start. Pick up that lantern, Sylvan." Overcome with emotion, Sylvan enveloped Nari in a tight hug. As the first rays of dawn began to peek through the trees, Sylvan rose to her full height, her luminescence brighter than ever before. Suddenly, a familiar voice echoed through the trees. "There you are, Sylvan. We've been looking everywhere for you." With the river's magic restored, the sprites bid farewell to their rescuers. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching.